I can't wear these Kree colors anymore.
Your superhero suit caused a lot of controversy, Captain Marvel. When people saw your Kree suit in the trailers, they freaked out. But even though you changed to something more like the one from the comic books, some people still weren't happy. There was so much thought and care put into your costume design, and now it's one of the most iconic costumes in the entire MCU. Designing superhero suits takes a team of fashion heroes, and unfortunately, not everyone has an Edna Mode on their side. Tons of actors have complained about their superhero costumes, but that's not the only reason they were given upgraded versions. Keep watching to find out the real reason why Marvel had to improve their superhero costumes.
What made you so special?
Andy Park is a genius. He's the director of visual development for Marvel Studios, which means he is heavily involved in costume design. Andy has worked on a bunch of the Marvel women's costumes, including Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, and Mantis. But he really took it to the next level with Captain Marvel. She is a warrior, so he wanted her costume to look like a soldier's outfit. It needed to be functional and practical.
How do I look?
She doesn't wear heels like a lot of female superheroes. She wears space-age combat boots. Her suit is designed to protect her from battle as a Kree warrior. Plenty of fans were upset when Captain Marvel wasn't given a sash. In some of the comics, she wears a red sash around her waist. It looks cool in the comics, but Andy points out that it's just not practical in real life. If she's fighting bad guys and flying around, a sash is just gonna get in the way.
I have nothing to prove to you.
It was so cool when Vision got a physical form. Paul Bettany did an amazing job bringing this evolved AI to life. Paul knows it's the role of a lifetime, but he has said the costume was pretty miserable. It took him 4 hours to get into costume and makeup every day.
You think I'm a child of Ultron?
You're not?
I'm not Ultron.
They didn't just paint his head red, he basically had pieces of rubber glued to his skin. Rubber is an insulator, so things got really hot. Plus, Vision wears a skin-tight costume that doesn't breathe well. It's uncomfortable and it's hard to stay cool. The costume designers added tubes inside the suit that could pump ice water. It helped to cool him off some, but it was still pretty miserable. He was advised to meditate or read when he's not filming to distract himself. Paul said he would think about how lucky he was and how many people would give anything to have the role. It definitely helped him keep going. Not everyone got the ice tube option though. Some costumes were just too tight.
But we need to go.
Thanos isn't just a terrible villain, he's pretty much the worst dad ever. He adopted Nebula and Gamora and turned them against each other.
Well, you were stupid enough to let me live!
And he literally tormented Nebula by replacing her body parts one by one. That made Nebula's costume extremely challenging for makeup and costume designers. It took hours for Karen Gillan to get into her costume every day, and Nebula has no hair. For her first contract, Karen was required to shave her head. But Karen was known for her beautiful red hair. She revealed at Comic-Con one year that she had gone bald by taking off her wig. Karen didn't want to stay bald, though, and Marvel had to have her back. In her second contract, she made sure that shaving her head wasn't required. This made the visual department get creative. They did figure out a way to make Nebula look like Nebula without Karen going bald.
I would like to try again.
Marvel fans know that the Red Skull is one of the evilest villains in the franchise. We first meet him in Captain America: The First Avenger.
You don't give up, do you?
He is a Nazi scientist whose own experiment went awry. He escapes into space, but we find out in Avengers: Infinity War that he got his due. He spends his days alone guarding the Soul Stone as penance. Hugo Weaving played Red Skull in Captain America. He and Marvel Studios didn't get along, but they asked him to reprise his role. He turned it down because he hated his costume. It took hours of makeup every day. He found it tedious and boring. So, Marvel was forced to recast the role. If Red Skull looks different to you, that's because he was played by Ross Marquand from The Walking Dead. The costume and makeup teams had to adjust to make him look as similar to Hugo's Red Skull as possible.
Saul holds a special place among the Infinity Stones.
Superhero costumes are definitely not comfortable. They're bulky, plus the actors wearing them often film in hot weather while performing physically straining stunts. Thor's costume is no exception. It was easy to get overheated as the Norse god.
Loki!
Turn off the Tesseract or I'll destroy it.
So costume designers got creative. Thor wears a breastplate with his costume. The costume team figured out how to attach a small air conditioner underneath it. It would blow cool air under his costume, which helped prevent Chris Hemsworth from overheating. He said it helped a lot. But that wasn't an option for everyone's costumes. Some are just too tight to put a fan in, like Black Panther and Black Widow. Black Widow's suit was too tight to even wear underwear. She got heat sick several times and she even hallucinated. She dehydrated quickly from sweating and would have to wring the sweat out of her socks every night. Yeah, we think we'd much rather play Thor. Apparently being a god gets you an AC unit.
Well, if there's too much weight, you lose power on the swings.
It's not like the costume team tries to torment the actors. They really do try to make the costumes as practical as possible. Most people think that the costumes are all spandex or leather, but costume designer Judiana Makovsky said that's not the case. They are usually using a type of stretch cotton. It's more breathable, but they can also dye it, print on it, and add texture to it. But using the stretch cotton comes with another challenge: wrinkles. Both Judiana and Andy Park have said that costumes might look good when the actor is standing, but when they move or film stunts, they wrinkle like crazy. They have to add materials to stop that from happening. Plus, most of them have multiple suits made of different materials. Armor is harder and often 3D printed. There are costumes that are fresh for battle and others that are scuffed to show after the fights. They even have to adjust the costumes for when the actors need to be on a harness to fly. Who knew so much went into these costumes? Keep watching to find out all the changes that happen to turn Captain Marvel from a Kree fighter to an Avenger.
Where's Fury?
Of all the MCU costumes, the Iron Man suit might have undergone the most change. Sure, they look similar, but you'll be surprised to find out how different they really are.
That's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
In the early movies, Robert Downey Jr. really did wear a huge, bulky suit as Iron Man. Robert has said he is not claustrophobic, but that suit nearly broke him. He said he nearly had a personality meltdown. After a few hours in the suit, it was almost too much to bear. Don Cheadle, who plays War Machine, has said pretty much the same thing about his suit. He compared it to something used in the Spanish Inquisition. When Gwyneth Paltrow suited up, she made a comment stating that women must be tougher. It was uncomfortable, but it was just a costume, she said. But hey, no two costumes are built the same. These days, Iron Man's suit is entirely CGI. Robert wears a partial helmet and something that looks like a harness. Then he wears body capture technology and the suit is added later. We bet Thor, Vision, Black Widow, and Black Panther are pretty jealous of his new costume.
You throw another moon at me, and I'm gonna lose it.
Tom Holland has done an amazing job at bringing Spider-Man to life.
Hey, how you doing? Don't worry about it, I got you.
Yes!
But playing the teenage hero isn't easy. Tom has talked a lot about how tough wearing the spider suit is. He can't wear anything underneath it, and he has to completely strip down to go to the bathroom. He also wears a helmet under the mask to give his head the right shape. That impedes his vision, which resulted in him getting punched in the nose. It's also really hot to wear when you're doing a bunch of stunts. Tom really struggled with staying hydrated at first. It was hard to take off the whole mask and helmet to take drinks. So the costume designers came up with an ingenious solution. They made the eyes on the helmet pop out. Then someone is able to stick a straw through one of the eye holes down to his mouth. It might not be glamorous, but it gets the job done.
You're the Spider-Man from YouTube.
I'm not.
There's no doubt about it, the cast of Marvel movies are some of the most buff stars in Hollywood. They have to train hard to get those muscles so that they look the part of a superhero. So imagine how disappointing it must be to put on a superhero costume and have all those muscles disappear. According to Judiana Makovsky, the fabric that they use for most of the costumes can make muscles vanish. It flattens everything out so you can't see all the toned muscles. That just wouldn't do. So she and the other costume designers had to come up with a solution. They mold and sculpt fake muscles to put on the actors inside their costumes. This makes the actors look a lot more buff than they actually are.
Smash.
When you think of Captain Marvel, you probably just picture the blue, red, and gold suit, but so much went into turning Carol Danvers from a Kree soldier into a proper hero. Red, blue, and yellow are primary colors, and she's now the primary hero of the Avengers.
Hey, Peter Parker. You got something for me?
But her black and green Kree suit didn't just change colors. There are triangles all over Captain Marvel's suit. Triangles are the strongest and most balanced shape, which describes her character perfectly. The stripes on her shoulders symbolize military ranks. She kept a star on her chest, but she added 2 wide stripes. It symbolizes that she promoted herself to a guardian of Earth as well as the protector of the Skrulls. We just love how much detail and symbolism went into her costume. She definitely has the most impressive on-screen costume change. Which Marvel hero do you think has the best costume? Let us know in the comment section. Thanks for watching, subscribe to The Things for more great videos, and hit that like button on your way out. See you next time.